everyone, Sucker Bros back with another video for you guys. We are here in Windsor, Connecticut. As you guys can see, this CVS behind us. I had to go in because I forgot my SD card at home. So I had to buy a new SD card for right now. So that's perfect start to this video. So we're going to be talking about the witch trials in Connecticut today. And I do want to show you guys a little bit of downtown Windsor. We are in downtown Windsor. We're at the memorial for Elise Young, also aka Alice Young. It really just depends because some people call her Elise and then other people call her Alice. So they used to spell Alice a little bit differently back then. So we're going to be talking about the history today. And I did bring my handy dandy notebook, and it's very windy today, so just deal with it. I apologize. So let's get into the history, guys. This is Alice, and she is the one who we're going to be talking about today. In 1647 is when Alice Young was accused of witchcraft. And it took a whole bunch of juggling around, and she was actually one of the first people to actually die during the witch trials, which the thing that's the saddest thing is that there's barely any record. And when I tried to look up, because I wanted to, record at the cemetery where she was buried, nobody knows where she's buried either. Like, there's no record of where she's buried. That is so messed up, guys. Like, not only that, like, out of all of the records of the witch trials as a whole, she has, like, the most, like, cleanest slate because Connecticut didn't want to record, or they were really bad at documenting back then. So most of Connecticut's history, like, as I said, remember when I went to Guilford, Connecticut? Like, there was also a lot of records that were lost due to the smallpox era also. So, like, in the 1700s, there was also a lack of documentation in Connecticut, and Connecticut is, like, rich of history. It makes me so mad that Alice has to go through most of her history being kind of, like, forced to be deleted because they just decided not to document. Or not decide not to document it, but, like, there's so much little information about her case in general, or history about her in general, besides the fact that she was a part of the witch trials. They don't have mostly the reasons why she was accused. It was only, like, from what I could find, was, like, it was only speculation, or just, like, out of fear people. Like, it's very, very, very sad. I hate this so much. Like, it makes me want to cry for Alice because of how messed up that is. When I was doing the research at the beginning, because I mostly use Wikipedia, at the beginning, or from the video, was that she was killed in Windsor, when actually that's not true. She was actually taken to Hartford for her sentence to be drawn out. And a lot of people who were in Windsor when they were being trialed for the witch trials in Connecticut, they were brought to other areas of Connecticut to live out their sentences. So, except for, I think it was Catherine Harris, because she was moved from the prison that she was in into more of a local jail. And then she was set free. She was set free. And from memory, automatically, there was one person who actually confessed, but she still was executed, which was so messed up. Like, in Salem, if you confessed, you were just banished. Like, Catherine, Miss Harris, she was accused, but she was banished from the Connecticut colony. So, like, that's the only kind of similarity, but majority of the people who were accused in Connecticut technically were sentenced to death. Let's put it that way. They were sentenced to death. So, yeah, it's pretty sad. But, like, in the area where we are right now is actually very historical, so that's quite nice. So, yeah, I'm reading from my notebook right here, and we have Megan with us today.
Hi.
Sorry I didn't, like, say that earlier. And I got my beautiful combat boots for today. Not only was she taken to Hartford, Connecticut to, live out the sentence that she was given, she was dragged exactly to the gallows. I don't even know where the gallows in Connecticut are, kind of like with like Salem, they don't tell you exactly where the gallows were. You just have to kind of speculate where they were, which is quite interesting. So, like, say if you wanted to paranormal investigate, right? Wouldn't you want to know the exact point where that happened was? Because wouldn't it be easier to paranormal investigate? Just saying. I mean, like, I also kind of want to paranormal investigate, but I'm not going to do that, like, right here, because, like, this is, like, the most public area ever in downtown. So, like, it'd make more sense for me to pick a cemetery. I do want to show you guys a little bit of downtown Windsor. So let's go do that right now. Alright, so now we're about to cross the road. Yay! Crossing the road. Finally, and then, so like this is the other side of the CVS. I love this little CVS. It's adorable. And we have the old chiropractor building down here. I forget what that's supposed to be, but we also have the railroad station down here. Chiropractor building. And then I love this building too, and then that's the railroad station. Funny, but I love the building so much because it's so cute. Because look at that, guys. It's so cute. And then we have a bus coming up here too. So, yay. I actually saw a Peter Pan bus like a second ago when we were recording at the Green, so I just thought it was quite nice actually. So, yay! Very fun. Yeah, I know. Look at that! Look at the buildings! Look at the buildings! Look at the buildings! Yeah! Sorry. I was talking to you guys like the way I talk to my niece. So, like, this is the railroad area, obviously. We got the railroad sign right here. And then the other one up there. Beautiful. And then I like this building right here because of the clock on the building. So you guys get to see the clock. It's so nice. And now we get to cross the street. Yeah, see, Windsor, Connecticut. Here we are. More railroad stuff, obviously. Yeah! SOS storage bin. There's like a couple of those because there's more over there. But it looks so beautiful in fall. And this reminds me of like Thomas the train ride at Six Flags. And yeah, I used to ride that because I love trains. But it was kind of like a regular train ride though. But like we also had the other train ride which was like chicken from like, I forget his name. So it was like, he's a chicken from like the Looney Tunes, and we had the train ride there before we had Thomas the Train, and I loved both of those train rides, and then they got rid of both of them. So like it makes me hate my life. I've never been on like an actual wheel train, so being at like the train station is actually pretty nice. So like this is actually pretty nice. I love what they did with the trash cans too. Those are cute. Alright, so we're leaving the train station right now, and then we see this little flower, which is so cute. I love that. It's a fake flower though, which I just realized as soon as I got close to it, but yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's still a flower either way.
I know, I'm just saying. This is also an active street, so you gotta watch out when you do cross the street because like people come out from the corner all the time. And then we also have, see, train tracks. Think train. Love it. Alright, so I just helped somebody with the train station a little bit, but I don't know much. And then now, look at guys. Ah! We're gonna have a train coming pretty soon. So we, like, it's coming. I can hear it too. It should be coming down here. Yeah! It's coming! It's coming! Yeah! Hey! Here it comes! Alright guys, so now we're walking back, going this way, so we're going to be going over there so I can show you guys the Trainwreck Tavern, which is actually pretty nice, and also pretty funny considering we literally were just at the railroad station, so it's beautifully themed. So now we're about to walk across the road right here. Okay. Yeah. 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 The Trainwreck Tavern is over here, and I know somebody who would straight up love this place. Besides me. There's a restaurant in North Adams called Freight Train, and then this kind of reminds me of that, but except this one's straight up just a pub, practically, because it says tap room, so it's right here. So I want to show you guys it right now. Down over here would be where you would go that way for this railroad station. So this is Trainwreck Tap Room. I love this place. From looking where the Trainwreck Tap Room is, I keep saying pub. The tap room, we're going back this way, and then now we are going to go see a cemetery. And when we go to the cemetery, I'll be talking more about the history. Alright guys, as you saw a little bit before, we are now in a cemetery. And again, now we are also very time limited because it's 3:37. Also, came here, there's two crows that were kind of circling in sky. I don't have a clip to show you guys, but it was terrifying. And then also we have some very, very old graves all the way in the back, so I want to show you guys, but not right now. So, back to the history. So now let's talk about the history again. Hey! The witch trials in Connecticut was also referred to as the Hartford, Connecticut witch trials, because that was the largest one in Connecticut to happen, so that was the most famous one. Also, during the witch trials, technically majority of the people who were being tried were taken to Hartford to live out their sentence. As an example, if you live in Wethersfield, you were accused of being a witch, you would be sent to Hartford. Everyone, even if you weren't living in Hartford, you were kind of sent there to live out the sentence. So it's quite interesting, actually. John Taylor recorded 37 cases of the witch trials of people being accused. And then, 11 out of the 37, 11 of them were actually executed. John Taylor recorded 37 cases of witches being accused, or people being accused of being a witch or witchcraft. And 11 of those out of the 37 were actually executed. Catherine Harrison. And then we're also going to be talking about Mary Johnson as well. Sorry, there's bugs. There's bugs. Yeah. The execution of Alice Young was in the spring of 1647. Again, she was one of the first people. Hold on guys, I'm gonna move because the bugs keep going in my face. I'm sorry if I'm stepping on anybody. For Alice Young, for her case, that's what actually started panic for Connecticut as a whole, because if she was being accused, who else was gonna be next? Nobody knew who was gonna be next. And again, this took place 30 years before the Salem witch trials, because this was in the 1640s. So during the 1640s was all the time era for Connecticut's witch trials. And it's very interesting, but sadly for Alice, she didn't make it out alive. Most of the records of the witch trials in Connecticut were poorly documented. And then in 1670 was when the whole time period of the witch trials in Connecticut came to an end with Catherine Harrison. She was one of the accused that we're going to be talking about today. She was released, but she was banished from the Connecticut colony. With what was documented already, we actually have enough evidence to talk about the witch trials as a whole. So we have enough information to talk about these women, these poor women. I don't know if there's any men who were actually accused in Connecticut of being a witch, to my knowledge, because I didn't see any when I was doing the research. The people who I was talking about, Alice Young, Mary Johnson, who we're going to be talking about in 2 seconds, Catherine Harrison was very famous because she was one of the ones that got released. Mary Johnson didn't make it out alive, but like she is very interesting, which I'll get into that in a second. Early days of the Connecticut witch trials, we have the Reverends Samuel Stone of Hartford, Joseph Haynes of Wethersfield, and then Sam Hooker of Farmington. Sorry, it's hard for me not to like look at the notebook because Megan's behind the camera helping me. I need to look at it because I can't remember that, and I wrote a lot of research. So like if I did this yesterday, I would be able to remember it a lot easier. So I'm sorry for like the amount of cuts that I've had to do. So I apologize for you guys. It's harder for this one. So I'm trying to do this one differently. So don't judge me. Don't come at me. Love me instead, please. Thank you guys. Also, Thomas Wells, who was a magistrate during the witch trials, he was also one of the people documenting and journaling everything, which is actually pretty nice. As the most popular belief of the time period, the magistrates of Connecticut relied on evidence of the devil's involvement in inflicting harm to secure a conviction of witchcraft. So Salem was kind of different because they were just listening to little kids screaming, "Witch! Witch! Witch! Witch!" Well, Connecticut actually at least tried to form some evidence, so it wasn't only of speculation and fear. Obviously, it still didn't really work for Alice, which is very sad. Rest in peace, Alice. Seriously, because like she got done so dirty, so dirty, 100%. On May 26, just in case if I didn't say this earlier, so on May 26, 1647, she was executed in Hartford, Connecticut. Young's execution was recorded in John Winthrop, who is very famous for the Salem witch trials. If you don't know, I just remember that when I was going over it in my college class. And he was the governor of Mass. I didn't know that until now. And then Matt Grant, the second town clerk of Windsor. Those two were very a part of Alice Young's involvement in the witch trial. So it's very sad. I love the lighting in here. I love how we're under a tree. Look at this, guys. We're under a tree right now, recording right here. So we're going to do this over here now. You guys are going to be a little bit off of kilter. I'm trying here, so we might have to put you guys right here. So like, look at the view behind me. I love this. I am sorry I stepped on a stick. There is no further surviving records of Young's trial or the specification on her charges against her, which is very interesting. And then around the time of the trial, there was an outbreak of influenza. I think it was Spanish influenza. I'm not sure. It was some type of illness that straight up exploded in the 1600s during her time of her getting accused, and that only sealed her fate further. Also, Alice Young, she either was married to John Young or related to John Young, which he kind of was like a rich man in a way, but also from certain parts it said that she was a maid too. I might be getting that confused with somebody else. And it made her more of a target because of all the assets that they had. So it's very, very intense, okay? And it's very, very sad. Now, we're talking about Mary Johnson. Mary Johnson was the first recorded confession of witchcraft in general. In general, when I was looking on the Wikipedia, because that's the... Did you hear that too? You hear the people screaming?
A little bit.
Oh. We straight up heard screaming, but there's like a parking lot right there. And then there's a parking lot over here. So
there's a dog barking.
I know, but like that's not like we legit did hear people screaming. That's just random.
I didn't even hear what they say though.
No, I didn't either. It was just them screaming. It wasn't words. I don't think that's paranormal. Anyway, so back to this. Mary Johnson worked as a house maidservant, and she was accused of theft in 1648. Later on, she was accused of witchcraft. After a long torture and investigation on her, they tortured her like crazy. And then she finally confessed to familiarity with the devil. And then Mary Johnson also confessed a little bit later to doing the deed with men and the devil, as well as taking out a child. She whacked a child. And that is very sad. She confessed to it. I don't know if it's actually true. Obviously, when you're being tortured, you'll be willing to say whatever. So I don't really think that's a valid thing, honestly. So, I mean, it is what it is. I need my tissue.
Sorry guys, it's very cold and I'm dripping out my nose here.
Her execution was delayed due to the fact that she was pregnant and during her imprisonment in Hartford, Connecticut. Again, everything is linked to Hartford, Connecticut. You're going to be hearing about Hartford, Connecticut in this whole video, and we're not even in Hartford, Connecticut, guys. Bruh. And then Mary Johnson was executed on June 6th of 1650. Alice Young was born in 1640. I know I kind of added it when we were talking about, Mary Johnson, but I just want to make sure that I covered that before I forgot. I don't know if I said it earlier or not. Alright guys, we're getting close to the end of the video, so I'm going to do these 2 pages very quickly, and then I'm going to show you guys over there. Kathy, she also was a maidservant, kind of like Mary Johnson. I'm not fully sure though, I could be getting that wrong, so I apologize. Kathy had legal problems due to the death of her livestock and the damage of her crops. People had eyewitness to that, and they were still like, yeah, no, we're not going to help you out. We're just going to do whatever. And that's so messed up. And even though people were seeing her struggle and nobody wanted to help her, in 1668, she was sued by Goody Griswold for slander. The last page! Yeah! Between 1668 and 1669, Harrison was accused of witchcraft. Her accusations against her was including breaking the Sabbath. A train in the background, guys. This is a train town. There's a lot of trains coming in and out of here. I love the sound. I love it. It's so, because we're right near where the railroad is. So because it's over in the other way. Was breaking the Sabbath, fortune telling, as well as using black magic, and then people were speculating that she was turning into a specter in front of people. And they also accused her of calling the devil by the swamp. I don't know where the swamp is, or what swamp they're talking about. I don't know. But they saw her at a swamp, trying to summon the devil, practically. That's what they say. And then on May 11th, 1669, she was moved to the local jail to await her trial. And again, also in Hartford. And then in 1670, she was released from prison and was banished from the Connecticut colony. That's it for the history of the witch trials. Thank you guys for listening, and I want to show you a little bit of the cemetery. So let's go do that. Alright, so I wanted to show you guys back here because this is where the older graves are. Because again, with everything around here, everything is mixed with the newer graves. We also have a lot of these here, which a lot of the older cemeteries have those. Not all of them do, but some of them do. And then right here, 1788. Oh, I've never seen this one before, actually. They were a patriot in 1775 to 1783. I thought it said 88. Oh, no, that is, never mind. That's 1788. My bad. But we can barely read this poor thing. That's sad.
It says he was 33.
No, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, the name and stuff. But also, you have your glasses. I do not, so.
Yeah.
Superpower. So yeah, I want to show you guys the rest of back here. We did see a couple 1600s graves, and there's so many old graves here, literally. And I was expecting that, but I never thought I would see anything from 1600s. Or it's over that way. There's one that fell down over there that I want to show you guys. Oh no, my bad. It's over here. It's this one right here. It's where Megan is walking to. It's this one right here. It's growing into the side of the tree, so they cut down the tree, which doesn't really help anything, sadly. And you can barely read that one because it's also broken, which is very sad. And then it's getting quite dark, so I apologize for the lighting. And there's a lot of 1600 graves over here. They're all mixed in. It's probably now my new favorite cemetery of all time, honestly. Because, again, 1765 right here. And then there is 1729, I think. Oh no, that's 1789, my bad. And 1689 over the other way. And there's so... Oh, man, I love fall. look at how beautiful this is in here. And also, if you guys can't really see, you can be able to see, like, every once in a while that there's a train going by. 1756, 1796, 1706. These are very, very old graves, and you do not get to see these everywhere. And this one is huge and thick. This one is definitely living gravestone. They redid this. They definitely redid this one. 1635. Oh my God, oh Jesus. That's probably like more than like 600 or 500 years before like my grandmother was born, because she was born in 1935. This is 1635. I can't read that one. Does it say 1596? From England in 16.
I think so.
Yeah, this was a reverend too, I think. April 6th, 1669. Timothy, 1628. January 14th, 1684. This thing is new. This is a beautiful new slab of granite, and they did all this. July 1651, March 18th, 1728, blah, blah, blah. And then Samuel, 1677, and then February 6th, 1745. 1797, right here. Alright, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. This is Soccer Bro, signing off, guys. And Megan.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.